The air crackled with tension. The room was filled with an almost palpable sense of anticipation, as if the very walls were holding their breath. This was no ordinary gathering. It was a moment that would be etched into the annals of history. Torches flickered, casting long shadows on the stone walls. The dim light created an eerie atmosphere, heightening the sense of foreboding. Each flicker seemed to whisper secrets of the past, tales of justice and injustice, of power and betrayal. Jesus of Nazareth, accused and bound, stood before the Sanhedrin, the highest court of the Jewish people. His eyes, though weary, held a calm resolve. He was a man who had stirred the hearts of many, and now he stood on trial for his life. His accusers, a mix of Pharisees and Sadducees, whispered amongst themselves, their faces grim. They were the religious elite, the guardians of tradition, and they saw in Jesus a threat to their authority and way of life. This was no ordinary trial. The very fate of a nation seemed to hang in the balance. The tension in the room was thick, as if the air itself was charged with the weight of the moment. Every word spoken, every gesture made carried immense significance. The trial of Jesus is one of the most pivotal events in human history. It was a moment that transcended the immediate context, echoing through the centuries and shaping the course of civilizations. The implications of this trial were profound, affecting not just the people of that time, but countless generations to come. It marked a clash of ideologies, a collision between the old world and the nascent Christian movement. On one side stood the established religious order, steeped in tradition and authority. On the other, a new vision of faith and spirituality, one that promised hope and redemption to the masses. To understand this momentous event, we must delve into the complex historical and political landscape of first-century Judea. It was a time of great turmoil and change, a period marked by Roman occupation, social unrest, and religious fervor. The trial of Jesus was not just a legal proceeding, it was a reflection of the broader struggles and conflicts of the era.
Breaking news.
Roman rule hung heavy over Judea. The once proud and independent kingdom found itself under the iron grip of the Roman Empire, a foreign power that imposed its laws, taxes, and culture upon the people. The streets of Jerusalem, once bustling with the vibrant life of a free city, now echoed with the footsteps of Roman soldiers, a constant reminder of their subjugation. The Jewish people, yearning for the restoration of their kingdom, chafed under the yoke of imperial authority. Their daily lives were a mix of resilience and resistance as they clung to their traditions and faith. The marketplace buzzed with whispers of rebellion, and the synagogues were filled with prayers for deliverance. The Western Wall, a sacred site, bore silent witness to their hopes and sorrows. Religious leaders, including the Pharisees and Sadducees, navigated a treacherous path, trying to maintain their traditions while appeasing their Roman overlords. These leaders were caught in a delicate balance, striving to preserve their religious identity while avoiding the wrath of the Roman authorities. Their debates and discussions were not just theological but also political, as they sought ways to protect their people and their faith. Into this volatile mix stepped Jesus, a charismatic preacher from Galilee. His presence was electrifying, and his words resonated deeply with the common people. He spoke of a kingdom not of this world, a message that was both comforting and revolutionary. His teachings challenged the status quo and offered a vision of hope and justice that was radically different from the oppressive reality of Roman rule. His message, a potent blend of Jewish prophecy and radical social teachings, drew huge crowds and ignited both hope and fear. People from all walks of life flocked to hear him speak, drawn by the promise of a new way of living. His parables and sermons spoke to their deepest desires and fears, offering a path to spiritual and social renewal. Yet his growing influence also stirred anxiety among the authorities, both religious and Roman. To some, he was the long-awaited Messiah, to others a dangerous threat to the established order. His followers saw in him the fulfillment of ancient prophecies, a leader who would restore their nation and their faith. But to the Roman officials and some religious leaders, he was a destabilizing force, a potential spark for rebellion. The seeds of conflict were sown, and the stage was set for a confrontation that would change the course of history. The high priests, fearing a popular uprising that could bring down the wrath of Rome, decided to act. They arrested Jesus, accusing him of blasphemy and sedition, yet to condemn him to death they needed the approval of Pontius Pilate, the Roman prefect of Judea. Pilate, a shrewd and pragmatic ruler, was caught in a bind. He saw no real threat to Roman authority in Jesus, but he also recognized the danger of inciting a riot by the volatile Jewish crowds. In a tense confrontation, Pilate questioned Jesus about his kingship. The Roman governor, Pontius Pilate, was a man caught between the demands of his superiors and the volatile sentiments of the local populace. His position was precarious, and the trial of Jesus presented a dilemma that could tip the balance of his authority. Pilate's interrogation was not just a matter of legal procedure. It was a desperate attempt to maintain control over a situation that was rapidly spiraling out of his grasp. Jesus' cryptic answers only deepened the Romans' unease. His responses were not those of a typical defendant pleading for his life. Instead, Jesus spoke of a kingdom not of this world, a concept that baffled and unnerved Pilate. The governor was used to dealing with insurrections and political rebels, but Jesus was different. His calm demeanor and profound statements left Pilate grappling with questions of truth and justice that transcended the immediate political crisis. Torn between his political instincts and a nagging sense of moral ambiguity, Pilate ultimately yielded to the pressure of the crowd. The shouts of "Crucify him" echoed through the courtyard, a cacophony of voices demanding blood. Pilate's attempts to placate the crowd by offering to release a prisoner were met with vehement rejection. The crowd's fervor was a force that Pilate could not withstand, and he found himself cornered by the very people he was supposed to govern. He washed his hands of the affair, literally and figuratively, and handed Jesus over to be crucified. This act of washing his hands was a symbolic gesture, an attempt to absolve himself of the responsibility for what was to come. Yet history would remember Pilate not for his attempt at neutrality, but for his role in the condemnation of an innocent man. As Jesus was led away, the weight of the decision hung heavy in the air, a moment that would be etched into the annals of history. The trial of Jesus was a tragedy born of political expediency and religious zealotry. The religious leaders saw Jesus as a threat to their authority and the established order. Their accusations were driven by a mix of fear, jealousy, and a desire to maintain their power. For the Romans, it was a matter of quelling potential unrest and preserving the fragile peace in a turbulent province. The intersection of these motivations created a perfect storm that led to one of the most infamous trials in history. It set in motion a chain of events that would shape the destiny of both Judaism and Christianity. The crucifixion of Jesus became a pivotal moment, leading to the spread of his teachings and the eventual rise of Christianity as a major world religion. For Judaism, it marked a period of significant transformation and reflection. The echoes of this trial reverberated through the centuries, influencing theological debates, cultural developments, and historical trajectories in profound ways. The echoes of that fateful trial still resonate today, reminding us of the enduring power of faith, the complexities of justice, and the human capacity for both good and evil. In modern times, the story of Jesus' trial and crucifixion continues to inspire and challenge people around the world. It serves as a powerful reminder of the impact that individual actions and decisions can have on the course of history. As we reflect on this moment, we are called to consider our own roles in the pursuit of justice and the ways in which we can contribute to a more compassionate and understanding world.